I'm 60 Second Spidey, and I'm recapping mainline Spider-Man comics in timeline order. Here's part 2. Spider-Man is trying, and failing, to fight a villain named Scorcher, but the public isn't thankful at all. While talking to Betty Brant, Peter comes up with a solution. He goes to Police Captain George Stacy and offers to be a cop. Despite the captain's refusal, Peter attacks Scorcher again to impress the police, fighting off the flame-wielding villain and taking him down with a collapsing water tower. Unfortunately, Pete's actions messed up a police sting operation, so he will need to find a new way to gain public favor. A creature is lurking in the New York City night. At school, Peter gets bullied by Flash, Liz, Sally, Jason, and Tiny, who steals his math notes. Back at home, Peter decides to steal back his notes and happens to see Tiny with his abusive father. At the Bugle, Peter learns about the creature and goes out to get photos and sees a bat attacking some gangsters. He fights with the bat until he realizes that it's just a kid. Reading the boy's diary, he learns that his parents abandoned him after an accident, but Batwing flies away when Peter tries to help him. Empathizing with his troubles at home, Peter goes to Tiny's house and helps him with their math homework. Vulture is a model citizen in prison, until he makes new wings and escapes. Spider-Man uses his anti-flying device to take the Vulture down, but Adrian's only pretending to fall and easily sends Peter crashing down to Earth. An injured Pete hides from his Aunt May at home, and later the Vulture tries to rob the Daily Bugle, causing massive damages to the Bugle offices. He eventually webs Vulture's wings together and sends him safely into custody. With Jameson now busy, Peter finally puts the moves on love interest Betty Brant. After the Vulture attack, Peter finally asks out Betty Brant, then encounters Sandman on his way home, but the fight does not go well, scarring him mentally. Peter is so on edge that bullies at school are able to knock him over with ease. He goes on a date with Betty, who unknowingly motivates him to stand up to the Sandman again. Spidey tracks him down and pushes him into a very conveniently placed industrial fan, disintegrating him across the city, which of course Jonah says helped him escape. Peter agrees to box his nemesis Flash Thompson, but a scientist is showing off the living brain, a robot who can solve any problem. The class wants it to figure out Spidey's identity, which worries Peter since his homework is to decipher the output. The boys get in the boxing ring as a couple of crooks try to steal the robot, turning it on accidentally. Peter quickly knocks Flash out, then suits up to stop the brain. It goes on a rampage across the school before Peter eventually stops it. While trying to flee, Flash accidentally stops the two crooks, so Peter throws away the robot's output and gaslights his classmates saying Flash is Spider-Man. A jealous Spider-Man shows up to the Human Torch's girlfriend's house. He spins up a web bat and launches it at Torch to instigate a fight with his frenemy. The Torch falls for the bait, and their fight quickly gets out of hand. Then, the rest of the Fantastic Four show up and get involved with the duel, until Sue Storm successfully ends the roughhousing. Homewrecker Peter leaves after taking his shot with Sue. Spider-Man is fighting a group called the Spacemen, who have shown up in New York City recently. Jonah is mad that his son John is considering Spider-Man as an astronaut candidate when he hears the Spacemen are giving a speech. They claim to be from a government task force, so Jonah decides to support them and runs tons of stories about how they are fighting the villainous Spider-Man. When the Spacemen have a parade, Spider-Man interrupts it and reveals that they were criminals all along. John says Spider-Man is too special to be an astronaut, while Jonah wonders what Spidey is hiding because no one can actually be that good. Peter is rushing through the streets, racing to get home to a very sick Aunt May. Meanwhile, a new villain, Electro, is on the streets and easily robs an armored car with his electricity powers. Peter and Betty are at the hospital with Aunt May when Electro robs Jameson, so he obviously thinks Spidey and Electro are one and the same. Peter tries to get photos of Electro but is beaten, while Maxwell Dillon remembers getting his powers when lightning struck a power line he was working on. When Aunt May makes a full recovery, Peter goes out and beats Electro, wearing rubber gloves and wielding a water hose. Then sells Jameson the photos proving Spidey's innocence. Spider-Man is fighting Vulture, who tells him that he plans to steal an atomic accelerator from the military. At school, Peter is once again bullied by Flash, Sally, and Jason, but is surprised to see Tiny and Liz Allen defend him for once. Peter tries to warn General Ross about Vulture's plans, but of course they don't believe him. He tries to protect the accelerator and ends up accidentally captured himself, allowing Vulture to steal it. Spidey chases after him, successfully taking the device and disarming it before it detonates. Spider-Man is fighting low-level crime when he finds a mansion being filled with poisonous gas. He swings into action, stopping the machine, and he learns the Human Torch has been tracking crimes across the city, given to him in the form of riddles. After solving a few of these riddles, Peter does some science and they discover the wizard is behind it. They track his location, take down his henchmen, and team up to stop his riddle-based crime spree. Spider-Man is giving food to poor Batwing when he realizes classmates Sally and Jason are trying to photograph him. Peter goes to get an eye exam to appease Aunt May, but is unknowingly placed in something called the Winkler device. That's going to be really important in a few hundred issues. While fighting robbers, Spidey is suddenly brainwashed and delivers the money to Electro and Dr. Winkler himself. A camera flash from his classmates stops the brainwashing, and he takes down Electro with ease, but Sally and Jason get all the credit. A new criminal overlord called the Big Man has appeared and is coordinating crimes across New York City. With the help of his enforcers, Montana, Fancy Dan, and the Ox, he has taken over the other gangs in the city. Jameson sends Bugle reporter Frederick Foswell to investigate. Spider-Man tracks them down and fights off the enforcers before alerting police to their location. He chases the Big Man down, who is captured by police and revealed to be Daily Bugle reporter Frederick Foswell. Jameson admits to himself that he is jealous of Spider-Man's good heart. Thanks for watching part 2 of my Spider-Man timeline recap. Like, follow, and subscribe as I post daily shorts and long-form recap compilations.